Another attorney, Bill Olson, stated that getting a judicial determination that Pence is constrained by the Electoral Count Act could completely tank the January 6th strategy. Attorney Bill Olson. Agreed, stating that getting a judicial determination that Pence is constrained by the Electoral Count Act could completely tank the January 6th strategy. That's fire, dude. Cool. Another quote to add. Another one to add to the, like, minor violation quote, and the first break with the procedure quote, and all the other quotes where they say they want to violate the ECA. It's just a lot of them. They do it a lot. They do it all the time. This was the same document, wasn't it? My initial view said it's very well presented. I apologize for being so blunt, as we're operating in a pressure, but strategically, although this complaint could be a home run, more likely a disaster is it could completely tank the January 6th strategy. With judicial determination, the district court and Congress will meet that Pence is constrained by. This is a section of the Electoral Count Act that they plan on breaking. I think this is the alphabetical order one. Yeah. Open, presented, acted upon in alphabetical order. And yeah, no votes shall be presented from any other state until all the objections were heard. The president for Senate shall call for objections, if any. The electoral cannot provide. Yeah. Those who were advocating to press on with the Eastman scheme did not want to bring it before a federal judge because the high risk that the court's determination that the scheme was illegal would stop the plan to overturn the election dead in its tracks. Eastman himself pushed this cavalier attitude towards the courts and compliance with the law during a call of Arizona House. I've read about this call. Arizona House Speaker Rusty Bowers on January 4th. During this call, just 2 days before the joint session, Eastman pressured Speaker Bowers to bring the Arizona House into session to certify Trump electors or decertify the Biden electors. Speaker Bowers responded that he had previously responded to similar entries by Giuliani and President Trump by explaining that doing so would require him to violate his oath under the U.S. and Arizona Constitution, and that he wasn't going to take such action. Undeterred, Eastman still pushed Speaker Bowers to just do it and let the court sort it through. Eastman's position was that Pence... Which memo did he write this in? Was it in the War Game one, or was it in the... Main thing is, the first one. Pence should do this without asking for permission, either from a vote at joint session or from a court. Hold on, I don't like Eastman memo. Where's the, I hate document cloud so much. Also, I don't like the CNN one because it also has this fucking thing. Here we go. Pence should act without asking for permission. I'll just make this here. A similar attitude. Did I miss anything? Not really. We're just reading. Attitude. The YouTube stream keeps crashing. Or, sorry, not the YouTube stream. Although it hasn't crashed for a while, all right? The YouTube stream wasn't up for a bit because it crashed. Because my Wi-Fi sucks, apparently. But welcome back, Chris. Hopefully, we're good from now on. Okay, similar attitude. Eastman took the same attitude. On a January 4th phone call. I don't know, to capitalize phone call with Arizona Speaker of the House. Rusty Bowers, right? Yeah. Asking him to bring those in our house in a session to certified Trump electors or decertified Biden electors. Doing so when Bowers stated this would violate both the U.S. and Arizona constitutions. Eastman pressed him to just do it and let the court sort it through. How is Eastman a chairman of law school? I don't think, listen, this is a personal belief. I don't think that you could prove this beyond a reasonable doubt. I do not think Eastman actually believed in his theory. I think Eastman was just telling Trump what he wanted to hear. I don't think Eastman believed in what he said. Thank you for the follow, Destiny Dick Suck Vid. Dick Sucking Vid. Welcome to the stream. From what I've read like Eastman literally originally the plan was like we have this alternate slate of electors, and we're gonna either like get a court to order a state to decertify the Biden electors and certify Trump's alternate slate of electors if they found election fraud, or you just pressure, like we're reading about this right here, or you just pressure people in the state, like the Secretary of State, or in this case, the Speaker of the House in Arizona. They did a Secretary of State in Georgia. You try to get them to not certify the Biden electors and to certify the Trump electors instead. Once it became clear no one was going to do that, it was only after that point in time where Eastman started arguing that actually Pence can just not certify the vote. Previously, Chesbrough said Pence could not certify the vote, and Eastman was like, nah, your theory is wrong. But after it became clear that their initial plan was not going to fucking work, they switched over to this one. I don't think Eastman actually believed what he was saying. But I can't prove that or anything. That's just a personal belief from the things I've read. I don't think you could prove that beyond a reasonable doubt. I don't think it would hold up in a court of law. That is just my intuition from what I read. Ultimately, Representative Gohmert's legal gambit failed. A U.S. District Court judge dismissed the case quickly. The judge's ruling was upheld by the Supreme Court, which rejected Gohmert's appeal without further consideration. Okay, so a federal judge or a district judge dismissed Gohmert's case, and the Supreme Court rejected Gohmert's appeal without further consideration. Oh, wait, I usually... Okay. Other individuals advising the president in his campaign also advocated for a role... The vice president also advocated for a role for the vice president at the joint session. Other individuals inside and outside the White House also advocated versions of the theory that the vice president had agency in the joint session. Other individuals... in and out of the White House. Advocated versions of the theory. The VP had agency in the joint session. The issue of the vice president's role came up during a December meeting in the Oval Office. Either President Trump or his chief of staff, Mark Meadows, asked John McEntry, the director of Presidential Personnel Office, with researching the matter further. Although McEntry was one of President Trump's close advisors, he was not a lawyer and had no relevant experience, yet he wrote a one-page memo declaring the VP has substantial discretion to address issues with the electoral process. This is the date right stuff, guys, by the way. This is the date. This is the fucking... So liberals think that if guns kill people, do forks make you fat? Liberal owned. He's that guy. Yeah, that guy's awesome. Okay. In a December Oval Office meeting, John, this guy, Director, Presidential Personnel. McEntee was asked by either Trump or Mark Meadows, they said. Mark Meadows, to research the role of the PP further. McEntee had no, I said he had no law degree, or yeah, McEntee was not a lawyer and had no relevant experience. It still contended the VP had the VP has substantial discretion to address issues with the electoral process in a one-page memo. 81. Jefferson. Me, oh my god, man. Me when I cite something with the Electoral Count Act wasn't even a power yet. Or wasn't passed yet. Won't it be passed for another 86 years? This wasn't the only one-page analysis drafted by McEntee before January 6th. He later proposed a middle path in which he envisioned the vice president only accepting only half of the electoral votes from the 6 disputed states. McEntee portrayed this as a way to avoid disenfranchising states while still achieving the desired result, delivering a second term to President Trump. McEntee conveyed this memo to the president with a cover note reading, "This is probably our only realistic option because it would give Pence an out." 84. Right. Can I not? If it just says like documents and files to select committees, I mean they're not made public. Exhibit 32. Can I find that? Is this a subpoena or whatever? Yeah. What the fuck? Dear Chairman Thompson, the presidential election of 2020 was rigged and stolen. The same group of radical left Democrats who utilized the majority position in Congress to create the fiction of Russia, Russia, Russia. Impeachment hoax number 1. Impeachment hoax number 2. The $48 million Mueller report ended in no collusion. Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukraine. The atrocious and illegal spying on my campaign and so much more are the people who created the committee of the highly partisan political hacks and thugs whose sole function is to destroy the lives of many hardworking American patriots whose records in life have been bro. No shot you send. Oh my god, dude. No wonder why all his lawsuits failed. Were they all written like this? Oh my god. Oh my god, they have election fraud claims here. Oh my god, kill me. Okay. McGinty later proposed a middle path in which Pence would reject only half of the electoral votes from the 6 disputed states. Believing it would. Oh, hold on. I should probably highlight it after. Avoid disenfranchising states. He sent this memo to Trump with a cover note stating this is probably our only realistic option because it would get Pence an out. And then what page was it on? Page 147. What was it? That's option I feel like my Pence could accept. I would have to read it again, but basically I don't think he made it him reject. I said, yeah, okay, so the VP, yeah, I don't know, it's just an interesting idea. Somebody proposed that he would accept half of the disputed states, and then I don't know, it would like give them the necessary time they needed. I don't really remember. just funny. McGinty told a select committee that his judgment is based on his assessment that it was like pretty obvious the vice president wasn't just going to reject the electors or whatever was just being asked of him at the time. Okay, awesome, fire dude. Another advocated a plan for the vice president to play a role in the joint session was Jenna Ellis, a lawyer working with the Trump campaign. Jenna Ellis, a lawyer working with the Trump campaign. Also believed Pence could play a role in a joint session. She argued that in two memos that the vice president had the power to delay the counting of the certified electoral vote. In the first memo, addressed to the vice president and dated to President Trump and dated December 31st, 2020, Ellis advised that Vice President Pence should not open any of the votes from 6 states that have currently have electoral delegates in dispute. Ellis asserted that this dispute provided sufficient rational and legal basis to question whether the state law and constitution was followed. Ellis proposed a delay of 10 days as the vice president and Congress awaited a response from the state legislators in which would then need to meet an emergency electoral session. If any of the state legislators fails to provide a timely response, no electoral votes can be opened and counted from that state. Ellis claimed the vice president would not be exercising discretion nor establishing any new president, but simply asking for clarification from the constitutionally appointed authority. In our first memo, I always do that. Hold on. Which memo do I already have? I think I also wrote it down in... I think I also have one here. Yeah, this memo. Our first memo from December 31st, 2020. She argued that Pence should not open any of the votes from 6 states that have currently have electoral delegate disputes. Then adjourn for 10 days. As the Vice President of Congress awaited a response from the state legislators, which would then need to meet. And I'll say, and if any state legislator fails to provide a timely response, no electoral votes should be counted from that state. Ellis claimed the vice president would not be exercising discretion or salary. Okay. Ellis sent the substance of this memo in an email to Fox News host Jean Pirro on January 1st, 2021 under the subject line constitutional option. And on January 4th, she sent the same substance to Fox News contributor John Solomon under this subject line Pence option. Ellis addressed a second memo dated January 5th, 2021 to Jay Sekulow, an outside attorney who represented President Trump during his first impeachment proceedings in another litigation. Ellis again claimed the vice president had the power to delay the certification of the vote. Ellis recommended the vice president should, when he arrived at the first contested state, Arizona, simply stop the count on the basis that the states had not made a final determination of the ascertainment of electors. The states would therefore have to act. 91. I don't have this memo. I wonder if just security has it. Oh wait, do we have this one? We do. Wait, so if I look up this, I'm assuming this will come up. Yeah, so why, when I look up other shit, it doesn't come up. I'm assuming some of the shit isn't public because the Democratic committee is making stuff up. I don't know, I'm assuming they'd have to retract too much of it to be useful or something, or there's some national security issue of making it public or whatever. There's a second memo sent to an outside attorney, dated January 5th, 2021. She again argued that Pence had the power to delay the certification of vote. Ellis recommended that whenever we arrived at the first contested state, Arizona, should simply stop the count on the basis that the state had not made a final determination of ascertainment of electors. Therefore, the states would have to act. Secular disagreed. Some have speculated the vice president can simply say, I'm not going to accept these electors, that he has the authority to do that under the Constitution. Secular said during a episode of his radio show, I actually don't think that's what the Constitution has in mind. Secular added the vice president serves a merely ministerial procedural function. Secular stated he disagreed. The VP had the authority. To reject. Electors. In addition, Hertzman discussed this memo with Skillo. They agreed Ellis did not have the qualifications or the expertise to be giving advice to this or to be litigating the challenges that President Trump's team was filing in court. Fire. Hertzman and Skillo discussed this memo. Are these memos, both of them? Or no, just a line of this memo. And agreed. Ellis did not have qualifications or expertise to be giving advice of this. Or to litigate the challenges, litigate the court challenges that Trump's team was filing. Hertzman did not think Skillo shared the memo with the president. '94. Page 208. And I'm assuming it's the same thing. Also page, yeah. Trump's team was filing in court. Okay. President Trump and his allies exerted intense public and private pressure on the vice president in advance of a joint session on January 6th. How did I do this before? Okay, we're on 467. It's 5.1. Okay, I just copied it. Hold on, I'm gonna make this heading 3 just so it's... You can tell it's a different thing. Okay. January 2nd, 2021, the Vice President meets with advisors, cementing his intended path for the joint session. Pence meets with his advisors. Jan 2nd, 2021. Pence meets with his advisors too. Cements his intended path on Jan 6th. Is there a darker blue? No. I can use purple. Purple looks weird. You know what? Maybe we will use purple. Actually, I think purple makes sense. On January 2nd, 2021, the Vice President Pence met with his counsel Greg Jacobs, Chief of Staff Mark Short, and Mark Morgan to discuss the joint session. Pence met with Greg Jacobs, Chief of Staff Mark Short, and Matt Morgan. Morgan was Trump's campaign's general counsel and had previously served as counsel to Vice President Pence. At this point, the Vice President had already had a clear understanding of what his role would be in the electoral count. Vice President Pence was concerned that most people did not understand how the certification of the electoral vote worked, so Jacob began drafting a statement for Vice President Pence to issue on January 6th. The statement was intended to provide a civic education on the joint session, explaining it to the American people his actions, including why the Vice President didn't have the authorities others had suggested he might. Pencil ready. Understood. His lawful role on Jan 6th. But was concerned the American people didn't. So he asked okay, so Jacob began drafting statement for the Vice President for Pence to make on the 6th, explaining why Pence didn't have the authorities. Others suggested he might. 98. I'm assuming that's not actually the thing itself, but it's just the deposition of someone. Yeah. When the second vice president got my advice, we were under the alternate slates procedure, but the vice president was concerned that there were alternate slates that had been submitted, and there had been a fair amount of news stories about it, and so he wanted to make sure that we were being really transparent about it. It wasn't we had forgotten them, it was that there was no impropriety or state authority, and therefore they have no status at the electoral count. And it was very clear in a second that he thought, as was as much ferment as there was on these questions, that this was going to be an important moment of civic education, and that there's very little understanding among most of the public about January 6th, the electoral vote count. If you asked 100 Americans, 99 probably wouldn't tell you. They didn't even know what that meant. They knew what the Electoral College was, but what do you mean they get together on January 6th for an electoral vote count? The men discussed various points of pressure being applied to the vice president, including Eastman's theories, the Gohmert suit, Ellis's arguments, as well as the how the electoral count process should work. They also discussed the allegations of irregularities and maladministration of the election, concluding that none of the allegations raised were sufficient to reverse President Trump's defeat. While Vice President Pence recognized Congress's authority under the Electoral Count Act to raise objections to the certification, neither he nor his staff were aware of any evidence of fraud that would have had a material effect on the outcome of the election in any state. Because the President Trump's reputation of election fraud allegations, Jacob and the Vice President's staff conducted their own evaluations of these claims. Jacob asked Morgan to send the campaign's best evidence of election fraud, maladministration, irregularities, and abuses in the system. The Vice President's legal staff memorialized a review. They concluded of all these materials in a memo to Vice President Pence, which included most allegations of substantial voter fraud defined to mean the casting of illegal ballots in violation of prevailing election laws are either relatively small in number or cannot be verified. Is this about Paul Krugman retiring? I know. Sad day. Sad day. Yeah. Why did this chart get more attention than this one? I like this one more because it I mean this one's cool because it shows. I know. Okay, did you see the Ben Shapiro quote tweet? Ben Shapiro said, "No one has been so consistently wrong for so long as Krugman." Like, kill me, bro. Kill me. I mean, it is like a good. This is a good chart. Like, there's no significant shift despite like signing free trade agreements. Like, manufacturing dropped at like a very steady rate. But I like this as well because it shows even countries, all these countries have trade surpluses, but they still are losing their share of manufacturing employment. True followed me. Okay. They also discussed allegations of election fraud the Trump campaign had made, and even asked them to send Jacob Jacob asked Morgan to send the campaign's best evidence of election fraud or irregularities. Uh, 101. However, after Pence's legal staff reviewed the evidence, they concluded that most allegations are blah 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 blah. Not true. Can't be verified. Crazy. If I search this up, will I get it? I do. Vice President Pence also discussed the Trump campaign's fake electors with his advisors. Both Jacob and Morgan assured Vice President Pence that there were no dual slates of electors. The electors organized by the Trump campaign were not valid. When discussing the Trump campaigns, fake electors, both Jacob and Morgan assured Pence there were no dual slates since the fake slates were not valid. 103. So I should just keep this open. They keep citing the same thing. I don't know why. Now let's close it. 61 to 62. Oh wait, I have. Morgan already written a memo about the topic in December, including the alternate electors, that is the fake Lack Day certificate of ascertainment issued by the state. Morgan had already written a memo in December, I said, right? Or no, January. Wait, this is dated January 3rd, 2020. Well, that can't be right because it would be 2021. Oh no, wait. Wait, no, yeah, it was 2021, right? Yeah. This state's wrong. Explaining the fake electors. We're not valid. Since they lacked a certificate of ascertainment issued by the state. Outside ascertainment of Trump's fake electors are no standing during a joint session. Jacob has also prepared a flowchart memo outlining the legal provisions that implicated in joint session on January 6th, 105. Why don't we have this one? Greg Jacobs flow chart memo. This isn't a I think Perplexity has it. Okay, well, I guess that's not real. I thought, is it not Greg Jacobs? Is it just Greg Jacob? Is Greg Jacobs the film director? And then Greg Jacob. Ah, fuck. Well, whatever. also produced a flowchart memo for Pence outlining the each of the legal provisions implicated in the joint session of January 6th. Be a really cool memo to have, but Jacobs advised the vice president none of the states have been sent in. None of the slates that have been sent in will qualify as alternate slate within the meeting of the ECA. Jacob advised Pence that page 52. Vice President Pence was still worried that the fake elector issue was sowing confusion, so he wanted his statement on January 6th to be as transparent as possible. That same day, January 2nd, Mark Short released a brief statement on behalf of the Vice President. Quote, Vice President Pence shares the concerns of millions of Americans about voter fraud and irregularities in the last election. A statement read, the Vice President welcomes the efforts of the members of the House and Senate to use the authority that they have to raise they have under the law to raise objections and bring forward evidence before Congress, before the Congress and the American people on January 6th. Short testified that the statement was consistent with the Vice President's view that he did not have the power to reject electors. Short issued the statement because of the swirl regarding the question of where Vice President Pence stood. Steve Bannon's podcast, War Room Pandemic, was one of the primary sources of the swirl. Okay, still on Jan 2nd. Hi, what progressive measures do you oppose? Some of the progressive tax stuff, so like a wealth tax I think is cringe. Whatever unrealized gains tax, any of the price controls that Bernie proposes or Warren proposed as well, I think are cringe. Going super hardcore on the trans issue, especially with trans kids, just seems not a good idea. Yeah, I'm trying to think what else. There's got to be other things too. Those are what come to mind. Eastman and Bannon questioned the courage and spine of Pence. Steve Bannon's podcast, War Room Pandemic, was one of the primary sources of swirl. Eastman was a guest on January 2nd episode of Bannon's show. Much of their conversation focused on Vice President Pence and a belief that he had the power to overturn the election. Eastman was a guest on Steve Bannon's podcast. Steve Bannon's January 2nd, 2021 podcast episode, with much of the conversation surrounding Pence's supposed ability to overturn the election. We are entering into one of the most important constitutional crises the country has ever had, Bannon said. Bannon complained that the vice president had spit the bit, meaning that he had given up efforts to keep the President Trump in power. Eastman claimed that the election had been illegally conducted, and so the certified votes were now devolved back to the state legislators, and the only place where it devolved back was Congress, in particular the vice president, who will sit in the presiding joint session of Congress beginning on January 6th to count the ballots. Eastman claimed that the vice president and Congress had the power to reject decertified electors from several states out of hand. They've got multiple states to elect for several states, Eastman said, and they've got to decide which is the valid state to count. I think they have the authority to make that determination on their own. As Eastman stated, right here, you know what I'll do. I'm assuming it's not fully continuous. Bannon claimed the Vice President of the United States is hardwired in an actual decision maker. Vice President's role is not ministerial. Bannon declared. Eastman agreed. Yeah, I'll do this. Bannon also stated, or claimed the Vice President of the United States is hardwired an actual decision maker. Vice President's role, are we to assume that this is going to be a climactic battle that's going to take place this week about the very question of constitutionality, electoral conduct? Bannon asked. Eastman replied, I think that depends on the courage and spine of the individuals involved. Bannon asked Eastman if he meant the Vice President Pence. Yes, Eastman answered. January 3rd, 2021. Eastman drafts another January 6th memo. Wargaming. Yeah, Eastman drafts his second Jan 6 memo. Wargaming scenarios. Eastman drafted a 6-page memo that imagined several scenarios for January 6th, only some of which led to President Trump's victory. Eastman drafted a 6-page memo. What the fuck? Wait, was this written by John Eastman? It was written by John Eastman. What the fuck? I thought they were just like quoting a conservative news source, but no, this is their deciding the fucking John Eastman, man. Fire. In which he lays out multiple scenarios that could take place on the 6th, only some of which show Trump winning. In a section titled War Game Alternatives, Eastman set forth the ways he thought President Trump could remain in power. Importantly, Eastman concluded that President Trump could remain in president only if and only if the president followed Eastman's legal advice and determined which electoral college ballots were valid. Importantly, Eastman's memo shows that Trump could only stay in power by taking Eastman's legal advice and determining which electors were valid. In another scenario, Eastman imagined President Trump may somehow win re-election in January 2021 if Vice President Pence remanded the electoral votes to state legislators, such that they could have had 10 days to investigate President Trump's baseless claims of fraud. In that case, Eastman allowed former Vice President Biden maced a win should the state legislators determine there was evidence of insufficient results to alter the results of the election. Eastman knew that there were no valid alternate slates, but he nonetheless predicated his advice to the vice president and president on this claim. In his 6-page memo, consistent with the earlier 2-page memos, Eastman states that Trump electors met and transmitted votes, finding that there were dual slates of electors from 7 states. Eastman's memo states that the Trump electors met and transmitted votes, finding that there were dual slates of electors in 7 states. Why did they capitalize states? Even since January 6th, Eastman had continued to affirm and defend his position that there were dual slates of electors, writing Trump electors from 7 states, which election challenges were still pending met, albeit their own accord, on the date designated by Congress, cast their votes and transmitted those votes to Congress. Eastman knew these slates were a premise for his argument, that the results of the election were disputed. However, Eastman acknowledged that on multiple occasions, both before and after January 6th, that these dual slates had no legal significance. However, Eastman acknowledged on multiple occasions, both before and after January 6th, that the dual slates had no legal significance. In an email sent on December 19th, Eastman wrote that the 7 Trump-Pence slates of electors will be dead on arrival on Congress unless those electors get certification from the state legislators. I read about this before. On December 19th email shows Eastman stating that the 7 Trump pencils collected. We dead on arrival. As we got a certification from the state legislator is 126. We definitely have this email. I've seen it before. 7. Wait, what the fuck even is this? Try a short stream yet? No. What do you mean try a short? I mean, I stream on shorts when I'm doing like debates and stuff, but I'm not gonna stream on shorts while I'm just reading. But I haven't done just a short stream ever. I'm never gonna do just a short stream. I don't want to do it. It's just too cringe. I can't bear the thought of it, okay? Like after I say anything. Oh, I do have it in my... Do have it in the short thing. I think I have, yeah. I think I've done one since then. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. I feel like Just Security has this email because it was in Discovery for the Pennant Baker case. Here it is. It is in this. I just can't find it in this. I sent 2. I know, I got them. Thanks. I don't even remember which one I chose, the first or second one. Oh, I also have it as I put it on my BRB screen. Now is more than just before it was like just one picture. I just put this on the BRB screen too. Of course, certification never came, and thus there's no basis for any action on dual slates. Nevertheless, on December 23rd, Eastman used the existence of the slates as a justification for Vice President to act in an email to Boris Pishin, a Trump campaign lawyer. The fact that we have multiple slates of electors demonstrates the uncertainty of either. That should be enough. Here, I'm going to do this. Despite these slates never being certified, fake slates never being certified, Eastman later emailed Trump campaign lawyer that guy on December 23rd. fact, we have multiple states with electors. Demonstrates the uncertainty of either. That should be enough. 128. 128. Chapman. Again, after January 6th, Eastman acknowledged in an email that the fake elector documents were invalid and irrelevant. Alas, he said they have no authority because no legislator certified them. After January 6th, Eastman acknowledged in an email that fake electors were invalid, stating they had no authority because no legislator certified them. Your BB is one of my favorites. I might recommend you have text show up saying like double tap to like. Oh, I could do that. I should have that just on my regular screen too. Just pop up at the bottom every once in a while. Well, this isn't my regular screen. This is the reading screen. This is the regular one, but Eastman concluded his memo by stating this plan was bold, certainly, but he attempted to justify it, arguing this election was stolen by a strategic Democratic plan to systematically flout existing election laws for partisan advantage. We're no longer playing by Queensborough rules, therefore. Eastman repeated that he wrote in his earlier, shorter memo, claiming the vice president should act without permission. Blah, 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 blah. Yep, I'm aware. Eastman claimed that the Constitution assigns the power to the vice president as the ultimate arbitrator. Eastman claimed in his memo. Wait, it's this memo, right? Not the earlier memo? Yeah. Eastman ended on an especially hyperbolic note. If the election results were not upended, then the sovereign people no longer control the direction of government. It will have ceased to be self-governing people. The stakes cannot be higher. January 4th, President Trump and Eastman meet with Pence and his staff in the Oval Office. What's up, Lost You Enforcer? Welcome to the stream. Why is this not blue? I feel like that should be one of the blue headings. Chillin'? Sounds pretty chill. Jan 4th, 2021. Trump and Eastman meet with Pence and his staff in the Oval Office. That's capitalized, I guess. I was having a hard time certifying this election and not feel like I'm violating the Constitution. Also, I feel like there has to be commas here, right? I think I did not put those, yeah. Thanks for the follow, Jim Lika. Welcome to the stream. I appreciate it. Hey there, what's up? Eastman argues in an Oval Office meeting that the vice president can reject electoral votes or he can delay the certification, sending the vote back to the state. Later in the afternoon of January 4th, President Trump summoned Vice President Pence to the Oval Office for a showdown. President Trump and Eastman sought to convince the vice president that he had the power to refuse to count the certified electors from several states won by former Vice President Biden. Trump summoned Pence to a meeting with him and Eastman. In an attempt to convince Pence he had the power to not certify the electors from several states. Insurrection, Constitution states insurrectionists are not hold office. What's the difference between that? Yeah, I know, yeah. Don't you know it actually what's the justification? Well, it violates due process, but not for state elections. States can actually violate due process for their state elections. It is, it's just it's only violating due process if a state does it to a federal election or whatever. That's why they lack the authority to take people off the ballot for that, obviously. It doesn't even, it's obviously dumb just because the 14th Amendment gives Congress the role to remove the disqualification by 2/3 majority, but if it's not self-executing, that means they have to first instate a law defining like insurrection to put the disqualification in place with a simple majority, which means they can just remove the disqualification by a simple majority by repealing the law. Like, literally, the Constitution gives them one role, which is to remove such disqualification by 2/3 majority, and that the single role it's given is negated by the ruling, which implies that Congress can remove the disqualification with a single majority because they first have to instate it with a simple majority and then just repeal it with a simple majority. Like, how is for California to still be counting ballots? Well, third world countries can do it in a day with a lot of money. Are you election denying this election too? Don't get involved. California's like 40 million people. Yeah, they count really slowly. By the way, if they counted fast, you would also say there's evidence of election fraud, because a big reason why they count slow is because they have to, when they do mail-in ballots, they have to check to make sure the person who did a mail-in ballot didn't also vote in person. And if they counted fast, you would say they didn't do that, and that's evidence of election fraud. So either way, you would say it's evidence of election fraud, because you're a spineless fucking hack who believes any evidence of a Democrat winning is election fraud, like, or any Democrat winning is evidence of election fraud. All the logic the Supreme Court used could apply to birthright, citizenship, or age, yeah. Well, who knows? They might get rid of birthright citizenship. Short and Jacob attended with the vice president. Trump's chief of staff, Mark Meadows, was the only briefly present, leaving as the meeting started. The White House counsel was excluded from the meeting. One key lawyer was suspiciously absent. Pat Cipollone, the White House counsel. Cipollone and his deputy, Pat Philbin, were shooting down a series of terrible proposals at the time. Philbin told the select committee that he was considering resigning every day from approximately November 15th until the end of the administration. Philbin had researched the vice president's role in January 6th joint session, concluded Vice President Pence had no power to affect the outcome. Short and Jacob also went to the meeting with Pence. Constitution says that they need to have them counted by like January 6th. What counted? I mean, it does say the vote has to be certified on January 6th, right? Is that actually, I don't know. Is that in the Constitution, or is that just the date that we set by like statute? I actually don't know if that's in the Constitution or if it's just a date we set by statute. Back, I lived in a democratic city, buddy, in a very dangerous neighborhood. The local political machine does not mess around. Sounds like the language of a hack. Okay, I went to debating Pence. Trump Chief of Staff, Mark Meadows. Left. As debating started. One key lawyer was conspicuously absent. Pat Cipollone, something like that, the White House counsel. Him and his deputy, Pat Philbin, were shooting down a series of terrible proposals at the time. The California can take... almost listening to anybody. Don't you have to do it by December 14th? I mean, it doesn't... I mean, there's not going to be anything outcome determinative, so it doesn't actually... I don't even think you have to count... I don't think you have to count all the votes to certify the electors, right? Because, I mean, as long as they get a majority in the state, then they're gonna have the... They're gonna win the electors from that state. So you just have to know who has a majority. I mean, if you count all the votes from one county that has 1 million people, but you don't count any votes from another county that has 1,000 people, well, I mean, no matter what, the person who won that county is gonna get the majority. I mean, assuming it's not within 1,000, obviously. So I'm pretty sure California can still send their electoral votes on December 14th, which is the safe harbor date. And then they can be counted on January 6th, even if they don't finish counting. Until after or whatever. Philbin told the committee resigning, blah blah blah. He'd research. Also, researched the add to dictionary. Role of the vice president in the joint session. Concluding. Pence had no power to affect the outcome. 140. Oh, it doesn't say what page it's on. Is the closest thing, I think. I remember when encouraging this type of rhetoric in Denham's chat, they said we don't allow different opinions and straight up went into personal. And then she got a month unpaid vacation. True. Personal attacks. It's just like, so... like... I don't understand. Democrats got, what, worse at election fraud? We rigged the election with, what, split ticket ballots? We're rigging the election in California to for, what, a few House seats when we don't even have a majority? Like what? We got worse at election fraud because when we were out of office, it's just like so obviously absurd, and like nothing I say is ever going to change your mind because you did not come to this conclusion through logic. You came to this conclusion through feelings. So there's no way I can logic you out of it. Like, Balone agreed and informed Short and Jacob that this was the opinion of the White House Counsel's office. 141. I don't know why it didn't immediately come up. Feelings like my unknown truths? Oh, more like my unknown truths. So true. Mark Meadows invited Chip Malone to speak with Eastman prior to the Oval Office meeting. Chip Malone told Eastman that his scheme was not something that is consistent with the appropriate reading of the law. After delivering his assessment directly to Eastman in Meadows' office, Chip Malone walked to the Oval Office with the intent to attend a meeting. However, by the time Vice President and his staff arrived, Chip Malone was gone. Am I pronouncing this right? I don't think I am. But I don't know if it really matters.
pronouncenames.com.
Cipollone.
Cipollone. Okay, I guess it's Cipollone. Prior to this meeting, Mark Meadows invited Cipollone to speak with Eastman. You got some more Italian? I ain't doing an Italian accent. Or he told Eastman. More Meadows. Like his scheme was not something that is consistent with the appropriate reading of the law. To be a racist stereotype. Can you really be racist against Italians though? Page 85. After delivering this assessment directly to Eastman and Meadows' office, Cipollone walked to the Oval Office with the intent to attend a meeting. However, by the time Vice President staff arrived, Cipollone was gone. Cipollone declined to testify as to what he told President Trump or why he did not attend the Oval Office meeting, but it was clear he didn't end up attending the meeting because of something that happened after he walked into the Oval Office. Whatever happened, Cipollone maintained, was protected by executive privileges, suggesting that he was asked to leave by the president. What is clear, however, is that Cipollone had already shared his view directly with Meadows and Eastman, i.e. that the proposal President Trump and Eastman were about to advocate to the vice president was illegal. Declined to testify why he was not at the Oval Office meeting. And what he told Trump about Eastman's plan. He maintains that what happened was protected by executive privilege. Indicating he was asked to leave by Trump. However, it is clear he informed both Meadows and Eastman that Eastman's proposal was illegal. During this Oval Office meeting, Eastman admits that both paths are based on the same legal theory and concedes his plan violates the Electoral Count Act. All right, 3 hours in, one energy drink down. During the Oval Office meeting, Eastman claimed that there were two legally viable options. First, Vice President Pence could reject outright the certified electors submitted by several states, and second, he could suspend the joint session and send the disputed electoral votes back to the state. Eastman initially claimed that there were two legally viable paths. Pence could take. Here, I might do that. I'll just make this blue, even though it's not a blue thing. Close enough to a blue thing. Is this on the same? I broke it. Okay, no, this is good. I think it's good. 148. Like Hassan. 88 to 89. First, Pence could simply reject outright certifying the vote, or certifying the electors submitted by several states. Second, Pence could suspend the joint session and send the disputed electoral vote back to the states. 149, which I'm assuming is the same thing. Oh, here. No, it's in the June. What? I don't know if I care about this. What is this? Who is Joy Reid? I have no clue who Joy Reid is.
Donald Trump is reportedly discussing pardons for his kids. The presidential pardon was originally meant to grant the president the power to temper justice with mercy. It was not enshrined in our Constitution so that a dishonorable man could reward his criminal allies, friends, and family for their corrupt practices.
Do you think that's what Biden did? Don't get involved. Answer yes or no. Is that what Biden did? Is what you just said.
Not enshrined in our Constitution so that a dishonorable man could reward his criminal allies, friends, and family for their...
Do you think that's what Biden did? Do you think Biden rewarded his criminal family for corrupt practices? Wait, no, answer that question. Don't get involved. Do you think that's what Biden did when he pardoned Hunter Biden? Answer that question. Did Biden reward his son for corrupt activities?
Corrupt practices.
Watch it. I'm not gonna watch it till you answer my question. Do you think that's what Biden did when he pardoned Hunter Biden? Or do you think that's more analogous to what Trump did when Trump pardoned Roger Stone, when Trump pardoned Paul Manafort, when Trump pardoned that other dude, the three other people obstructed of, or convicted of, like, obstructing justice on his behalf for, like, all the Mueller report investigation and, like, the first impeachment trial? Okay, nice one.
I don't have a problem with Biden pardoning his son. He should have pardoned him. The crazies are coming, right? But to me, it's like, pardon more.
That's not even... She could have said way worse things there. Hold on. You won't answer this question because you realize how answering this question destroys the supposed flaw in the logic here. The thing is...
So that a dishonorable man could reward his criminal allies.
What Trump did is this. Trump rewarded his criminal allies by pardoning people convicted of obstructing justice on his behalf. What Biden did was pardon his son because he either likes his son or because he thinks his son's going to be unfairly prosecuted by Trump. Still on J6? Yeah, wait, there's a lot of stuff to read. Also comes down to the fact of matter, was it objective failure of justice or not, regardless of party? I mean, sure, but like it's just like such an obvious, like, yeah, the reason Duncan Evolved won't answer that question is because he understands if he answers it, with the clearly truthful answer. It just like totally destroys the logic in the video. Also, I don't know who that girl is really, so I recognized her in a second clip, but I don't know anything about her. I don't really care about her. Huh? You wouldn't answer my question. What do you mean? I feel like you only care about January 6th in the context of using it to debate Trump supporters. I think it's a bad thing Trump did. So like, I want to know about it because if I debate Trump supporters, I want to know the facts. I don't know what you mean by that. I also care about it just because I feel like it was probably not a very good thing for democracy. Yeah. Eastman advised the vice president had the raw authority to determine objectives himself, according to Jacob. However, by the end of the meeting, Eastman was emphasizing the second option that he argued would be more politically palatable than the more aggressive option of the vice president simply rejecting votes outright. At the end of the meeting, Eastman preferred the second option, which he argued would be more politically palatable than a more aggressive option. Any more aggressive? What's up?
Dog, I feel like Matt Darling, okay?
Yeah.
Can I tell you why?
Why? What happened?
Check this out, okay? I'm fucking dog, man. Oh my god. Here, give me a second. Here we go. Like, check this out, okay? Check this out.
Mm-hmm.
Read the thread, okay?
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh, it's okay. China's share GDP relative to the U.S. The decline disappears when you adjust for inflation. It's a relative to the U.S. in a pick, not nominal. What do you mean? Do you mean the original is relative to the GDP of the U.S.? Because that's also the case for what I posted. Are you stupid? It says real GDP for China. That's because the graph isn't made relative to the US, and the joke is the original graph is dishonest. This graph is made relative to the US, not sure what you mean. It's the real GDP of China relative to the real GDP US. Are you stupid? It literally says real GDP for China divided by the real GDP of the US. Where does it even mention the US? Real gross domestic product is the measure for the US. Fred is an American website, mainly for American data. The units and scale are different, so it wouldn't be the decimal. It literally says the label on the y-axis.
I can't. These people are illiterate. And these people vote, man. These people vote. They cannot read a chart. They cannot read a chart. My God. I mean, even if you look at, like, the most, like, the best comparison I can make, which is, like, you could... I guess I could have used like the constant US GDP per capita and constant like Chinese GDP per capita, and they're both like given in 2010 US dollars. So that would have been like a good comparison. But I mean, my God, these people, like what the fuck, like I could have, but like, why even bother? Like the graph looks exactly the same. Like the populations have stayed relatively like the same. The exchange rate has been relatively the same. Like, yeah, my God, I feel like Mad Darling. Like these people are like, oh, why is it a decimal? Read the fucking y-axis. Millions of Chinese currency over billions of US dollars. It's not gonna be decimal. Retard. It's not gonna be decimal ever. My God. My God. Ugh. Ugh. Oh my God. Am I overreacting? Am I overreacting? Am I emotional?
No, I think it's valid.
Thank you. Thank you. I've been saying this.
Valid crash out. Justified crash
No, wait.
out.
Now like all my tweets, okay, dog? Like all my tweets.
I like the first one. I already closed it though. It's a lot of work to reopen it.
Fair enough. But yeah, funny stuff. My God. Well, whatever. This is the battle I'm waging right now. But yeah. What's your take on minimum wages?
I mean, it seems like the evidence we have shows like the demand for labor is pretty inelastic, so I don't think it's a big deal to raise minimum wage. I mean, I was just kind of like, I think arguably, like, if we just had like a UBI, you wouldn't even really need minimum wage, but...
Did you watch the David Friedman block debate about praxeology?
No, I didn't do that ever, no.
It's pretty illuminating. It's a pretty good, like, dismantling of, like, the common praxeology talking points, although it's not as comprehensive as I would have liked. But at one point, David Friedman is, like, Walter Block says, like, oh, we can know a priori with certainty a bunch of stuff. Like, for example, demand curves are downward sloping, or if you implement a minimum wage, employment would be lower than it would have been otherwise. And he says, like, we know this with absolute certainty just from first principles. And David Friedman just, like, easily debunks him by saying, like, well, imagine a scenario. I don't believe we're in that world, but imagine a scenario where, like, you know, you have a city and there are, like, a bunch of rich people there that employ everyone. And they say, we're gonna not employ anyone new unless you implement a minimum wage. And then you do it, and then they employ people. If you didn't do that, they wouldn't have employed people. So employment would be lower if you didn't do the minimum wage. And Walter Block is like, no, you're not holding everything else constant. And he's like, I literally am. I am literally holding everything else constant. Everything else is constant. You have this situation. Nothing changes. You do a minimum wage or you don't. Like, it's so stupid. Like, oh my God. But yeah, it's a good, he debunks a lot of their talking points. Like, he says, like, even like normal laws in economics, like diminishing marginal utility, are not even like really necessarily true. Like, imagine like the marginal utility for like car tires. Like, it only diminishes once you have above 4, right? Like, but like, would I prefer to have 2 wheels over like 3 wheels? Like, no, I need 4, dog. Otherwise it doesn't really matter, you know? But yeah. So I don't know. It was a good debate. It's a good debate. Funny, good watch, but whatever. Just saying. But yeah. I don't know. But what are you reading about right now? The court cases or what?
I'm reading the coup and sorts of legal theory part of the J6 report. So yeah, it goes over some of the court cases. Yeah, that Eastman didn't want them to file because he knew they would lose, and then they would get a ruling saying the ECA was constitutional before they tried to break the ECA.
Yeah, very silly.
I literally, I'm gonna read more of the court cases, but like I don't think there's anything like I don't think there's any precedent at all for like the ECA being unconstitutional. I think it's only like a thing that like Eastman defended and like dipshits online defend. I don't think there's any.
If it is constitutional, if it is unconstitutional, that means Kamala can literally overturn Trump right now. Would they ever argue that? If Kamala did that, would they support that? No. It's all in bad faith. That's why I criticize you for like reading way too much into this. Like, they don't care. They don't make these arguments in good faith. Like, they don't actually believe it. Like, they know they were doing a coup. That's why like they wanted everything to be secret. Like yeah. I mean, yeah, it's pretty obvious to me. So that's why, I mean, even the people who are MAGA, like they're not gonna get convinced. But you did come to your senses when you were like, oh, I have this lawsuit where they literally fucking admit that it was a coup attempt. So what you should have done is, so you're right. Every time you debate a Republican, you should not be like, oh, and here's my evidence. You should be like, okay, well, your standards are so unreasonably high. Like, what, do you want me to have like a fucking public admission that they were trying to overturn the election, like the fake elector? Is that what you want? Like, would that even count as evidence for you? And they'd be like, yeah, that'd be evidence. And ask them like, would that be good evidence? Or they'd be like, yeah, that'd be good evidence, solid evidence. And I'd be like, so I need to show you a fucking public admission of the people who were fake electors saying we tried to overturn the election, and only that will convince you otherwise. And they'll be like, yeah. And be like, okay, bitch, I have that. Now change your mind. Let's see you do it. Come on, dance for me. Like, you should be like that. You should be like that.
I should. I really want to do that. I will try to set up that trap for people, and I pray they fall
but
into
prepare. They're gonna still. They're not. We know they're not gonna change their mind.
Obviously, they're not gonna concede, but
yeah.
You know.
So what they're gonna do is like, oh well, this was a settlement, so maybe they said some things, just they don't mean it, you know. So like, you're gonna get that. You are 100% gonna get that, right? They're not gonna get like.
They're coerced by the lawfare in a civil suit.
Right. Exactly. These heroes, they did nothing wrong. And it's like, also you need to get the concession that like you're literally okay with Kamala overturning the election, right? You're literally okay with that, right? That, you'd be okay with it. You'd be big chilling. Yeah, very silly, very bad stuff, very bad stuff. But yeah, God, I want you to do more Jan 6 debates, but this research is, I think, too deep into the weeds. You just need to know the basic facts of it, because that's more than 99% of people on this.
Sure.
You know.
I mean, I'm not gonna get through all this stuff.
You're reading stuff that is for like the 4th hour of the debate, when most people don't even know who Eastman is. Right? Like,
Dude, most people, so funny when I asked fucking Minar
you're gonna debate. Most people you're gonna debate. Like, most people in general don't even like know who like really Giuliani is. Like, they don't really know him beyond like.
Wait, localist, Kamala can't do it Pence did because they changed the law. Do you think that it was constitutional for Pence to reject the electors on January 6th? Do you still hold that position? Probably. Okay, what's the evidence for that?
Literally, what was changed? What was fucking changed? No law was changed since like.
No, they did change the ECA, but like it doesn't change the fact that Pence didn't have the authority to do that.
Not in a meaningful way. And if anything, it's not going to be still unconstitutional. Like, it's not. They didn't change it in a way that would like restrict Kamala from doing what Pence did. No.
Not if it's unconstitutional to begin with, but I forget exactly what I think they clarified in it. They were like, oh yeah, the role of the president of the Senate is purely ministerial and not like
that's just reinforcement. That's just reinforcement. Then.
It is just reinforcement, but it's not actually. It didn't actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's controversial, but I think it was legal. They changed the law after, so we already went over why the fact that they changed the law is not relevant at all.
Okay, so Biden could have like rejected Trump at the time, right?
Yeah, Biden could have rejected Trump.
17, right? 17. Yeah, Trump could have. Biden could have literally prevented Trump.
You do concede it would be a violation of the ECA, right?
It would just be a violation of an unconstitutional ECA.
Well, yeah, but I don't even know if he accepts it as a violation of the ECA.
Eastman literally says that, but he doesn't.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm going
to tell him. Localist is a troll. Localist doesn't believe what he's saying.
Localist is a troll. To do what? To not certify certain electors. Well, there are actually multiple points that are playing that violated the ECA, because he wanted him to like not only like not certify Arizona, but like just like skipping over Arizona and going to the next state before hearing objections to Arizona as a violation in and of itself. But the big thing is choosing not to certify electors from the 7 states. 7 swing states.
Yeah. So I'm just saying.
I don't think it's illegal to not certify electors. So illegal? Is that because the ECA is unconstitutional, or is that because?
So you'd be okay with Biden rejecting like Trump's presidency. Like, he could have in 2016. Biden could have literally been like, "No, I'm rejecting Trump's electors." And make like the Green Party candidate.
Well, I mean, Localist believes the 2020 election was stolen, so like, he's not going to be okay with that. He's okay with this because
the election was stolen or not. The power of the vice president has nothing to do with being stolen or not. Yeah, is that like
only
even if the election
to make
Was or
only if
wasn't.
there's enough evidence
Like,
to make the election not able to be
Eastman-
certified.
Eastman's
Where is that?
case-
Where the fuck is
Eastman-
that in the law, Localist? You can't cite that anywhere in the law. You're fucking retarded. What do you mean? To be clear,
again, I don't know why you don't. I don't know why you still engage with that dude after he said like Krugman and Keynes like they need a chart together. Like this guy is a known liar. I don't know why we let him get to us. He's like he knows he's lying.
Do you think Eastman was lying? Do you think Eastman was lying when he said he planned to violate the ECA? Sample is so salty. Do you think Eastman was lying when he said he planned to violate the ECA? Localist, yes or no? 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 Was Eastman lying? Can't the president do whatever? He's immune from crime. The argument is, well, before the immunity ruling, no. After the immunity ruling, the argument is these were actions made as office seeker, not as office holder. Any communications with President Pence are official acts, which you're entitled to presumptive immunity for. Which is dumb, but an official act can still be illegal. It's just presumptively immune rather than absolutely criminally immune. Also, Pence doesn't have immunity, but he said he wanted to do a small violation. Yeah, so it was a yes or no question. Do you think Eastman was lying?
Violation. He said another violation.
He said one more minor violation, by the way. And also, I'm reading about the meeting right now where he admits it was illegal, but because Greg Jacobs pressed him on it a lot. But do you agree? Do you think that John Eastman was lying when he said he wanted to violate the ECA? I don't think Mike Pence... Wait, can you just answer the fucking question, Localist? Do you think John Eastman was lying when he said he wants to violate the ECA? It's a very simple question. I mean, like no, okay, but I think it was just a recommendation. I mean, he was recommending that Pence violate the ECA, correct? Like, what? I don't know.
Recommended that he steal the election. The Pence literally says this. Play the clip. Play the clip of Pence saying they asked me to.
No, he doesn't care about anything Pence says because he thinks Pence is an NPC. He's paid by liberal media. Yeah. Wait, didn't Mike Pence know what the law was? That's why he didn't do it? Yeah. Well, partly, yeah. I mean, Mike Pence, basically Pence, when he first heard the plan, was like, his position was that there was no way the framers intended the vice president has the unilateral authority to determine who the next president is. So basically, he told his legal counsel, Greg Jacob, and a few other people too investigated it as well to investigate it. And Greg Jacob read literally everything on it and was like, yeah, this is obviously fucking stupid. And then there were two cases actually: Wisconsin Voters Alliance v. Pence and Pennebaker v. Gohmert, Gohmert v. Pence, which both ruled on parts of the ECA whether or not they were constitutional before January 6th, and they both were like, yeah, the ECA is constitutional. Like me and Sample and at Token Evolve said, most Trump supporters don't even care about J6. I agree with you there. That's the issue. Correct. So using it mid-debate won't change anyone's mind. I mean, well, that's also the issue, kind of. Yeah, I don't like the fact that they don't care that he tried to overturn an election. And the legacy media overplayed it, so it's ineffective. True, dude. When the far right was marching the halls, chanting to bodily harm Pence, yeah, because I mean, yeah, they all saw fucking Steve Bannon's podcast where John Eastman was on it, and they all argued that Pence had the unilateral authority to overturn the election. I bet Localist was watching that podcast on January 2nd and was like, this John Eastman dude's making a lot of sense. Localist, would it change your mind at all if I pulled up Eastman saying that the plan is unconstitutional and Pence doesn't have the authority to do it? Because Eastman did say that. He only changed his position on it after it became clear that no state was going to certify Trump's slate of electors. I wouldn't even guess most of the people in J6 didn't even know who John Eastman was at the ellipse speech. What do you mean? That's not true. Everyone, I don't know, technically everyone, the majority of people who entered the Capitol on January 6th watched John Eastman speak at the ellipse speech. That's just inaccurate. And a lot of them, like all the Proud Boy peoples who were like the ones coordinating to like break down the different lines of the Capitol Police, like the different barricades they had, those people definitely did know who John Eastman was. They all watched fucking Steve Bannon sing. They were all out there. I watched the ellipse speech J6 Live and didn't even know who he was. Okay.
Oh, I'm an ignorant retard, so that
Like,
means there's nothing behind it. He was still there, dumbass. Like he was still there.
He was
I
there,
don't
and he
care that
told
you're
people
ignorant.
that Mike Pence didn't have the courage to. He's been name dropped Mike Pence in the ellipse speech multiple times. So clearly people, even if they didn't directly know who he was before then, like they they saw him talk about who. Sample, don't pretend like you knew who John Eastman was in mid-2020.
It doesn't matter if I knew.
He wasn't at January 6th. He wasn't trying to get Mike Pence over.
First of all, I was not an American citizen yet. That's the first thing. Second thing, like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that it didn't exist, right? Like I didn't know who fucking I didn't know who like all the people involved in Nixon's conspiracy. I wasn't born yet. It doesn't mean it didn't happen. What the fuck?
It's also
logic.
It's like obviously the people at January 6th are going to know who John Eastman was.
The people who voted for Nixon didn't know who was involved in Watergate when they voted, so that means it didn't happen. Like, what? No, the nonsense. You're lying. You know you're lying. You know this is absurd. By the way, Nathan, do you know in detail what's like a seasonal adjustment? Because I don't really understand what that is.
I mean, I don't know in detail. All I know is they try to take out like the normal changes in like seasonal employment. So like obviously teachers are going to be hired in the fall and laid off in the summer. So like you try to adjust for that to get rid of that noise.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why that's why economists hate farmers, right? It's because all their shit it's like seasonal. So
Okay.
the Democrat narrative consolidates the riot with the election legal strategy. You don't believe in the election legal strategy, so like I don't know what the fuck this point is about. Obviously, if you don't believe in the illegal conspiracy happened, then like you're not gonna care. You're not gonna understand how these two are connected. But okay. Like we had like the Proud Boys literally like have gone on record and said like, yeah, we were there to pressure Mike Pence into not certifying the vote. Also, even if I 100% accept this, the legal strategy and the J6 riot were isolated. I don't care if the riot didn't happen. They still tried to overturn an election. What do you mean? I don't care. What? Even if there was literally zero violence. Who the fuck cares? Like they still did the criminal conspiracy to overturn the election? Like what? Like, okay, good argument, dude. I am the election. Welcome back, Joe Billy. Overturn is still the wrong word because the election is the Electoral College. Kill me, dude. You would never use that same logic if Kamala Harris did the same thing.
Lying. I don't know. This is not interesting. This is not.
If Kamala Harris did anything similar, he would not be like, well, overturn isn't the right word because the election is the Electoral College, by the way. So he can't overturn it because it hasn't happened yet.
I want localists to address this. Localists, you would have been A-okay if Biden did exactly what Trump planned to do and made Hillary president instead of Trump, right? You would be A-okay with it.
Well, he's going to say no because it's not a contested election, even though, one, there was the Russiagate stuff. People in Congress did literally object to the certification of the vote for Hillary Clinton because of the Russia stuff, so there clearly was objections
where does
to
it
it.
need to be a contested election? It
I
doesn't,
know,
it
I was
doesn't
about to
that
say,
in the law.
yeah, he said no because there wasn't anything contested. One, it was contested. People objected to the certification of that vote. That's why Biden had to fucking gavel it down. Two, you can't find, you clearly haven't read the ECA. There's no statute that's like, only in the case of a contested election, you can
Also,
not
it was
certify the
more
vote.
close. Oh, well, I guess you don't believe the votes in the first place, but like Hillary won by a smaller margin than Trump, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's more likely that Hillary had voter fraud. I don't believe that for a second, but it's more likely that Trump had voter fraud. Like, it's more likely that there was voter fraud in the first case than the second one, because Trump lost by an even bigger margin the second time. But
And then also, like the Localist is. I guarantee you, I don't want to say what I know Localist is going to do because I want him to do it. I want him to pull up the part of the ECA. I think he's going to pull up, and then if he actually tries to find where it says contested in the ECA, and it's obviously contested doesn't mean there's objections. Contested means there's dueling slates of electors, but there weren't valid dueling slates of electors in this case. There were fake slates of electors that Eastman argued Pence could use to say they're dual slates of electors and then not certify the vote from.
well, either way,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, this guy is a troll. He knows he's lying. He knows what he's saying is absurd. He enjoys it. That's why he thinks he should adjust for inflation twice. Adjust for inflation squared, my guy. Yeah.
You gotta adjust
You know
the
what?
real
I'm in
GDP for
favor. I'm in
inflation.
favor of adjusting for inflation twice. But like, let's say we have nominal wages. I'm in favor of taking nominal wages, multiplying that by nominal wages, and then adjusting for inflation twice, and then taking the square root of that. That's what I'm in favor of. Okay, that to me seems the best methodology. Okay. For those who don't get the joke, that's just the same as real wages. It all cancels out. But yeah. But either way. I'm just saying this guy's a troll. He knows he's lying. Keep reading the article. And yeah. Maybe, I don't know, maybe even fucking hop on Pisco's stream, like at a certain point. Like, I don't know, he doesn't have any viewers.
I would love to talk to Pisco. He does have me banned in his chat, but
yeah, I could, yeah, I don't know, maybe DM him on like Discord and be like, hey, I'm just a small content creator. You banned me just because I rated you with one viewer. I guess I should not have done that, but I didn't know it's a bad thing. And maybe we can like pop on your stream. I've been reading a lot about Jan 6. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Dog, one day you'll debate Rob Noah. I know it.
I mean, he does call-in shows. I've considered doing it before, but like, I don't know if call-ins are the best format.
Well, he's also he's even a more he's even a bigger liar than Locos. Like he used plot in that debate, dog. Oh, he used AI in that debate. He used AI, dog. He used AI. Crazy. Well, either way.
Yeah.
Whatever. Talk to you later.
Talk to you later.
Funny.
Pisco drives me nuts. I'm not a fan of. You're not a fan of him? Why? Why? Is it because what, do you not like his debating style? Is it because he's neutral MAGA? bounced after you said that. True. Okay, sent back to the States. Eastman later conceded both actions were based on the same underlying legal theory of the vice president's power. His debating style is so cringe to me. I'm gonna copy it. I'm gonna DM him. Someone clip this, okay? And send it to Pisco, okay? He needs to inform me on his exact debating style, okay? For the Jan 6 stuff. Just so I can copy it exactly. He's afraid of covering nullification because I will nullify his citizenship. True. Both paths were based on the same underlying legal theory. 152, Select Committee, Greg Jacobs' position, page 96. What's up, Becca? Welcome to the stream. So, in one of my conversations with him on the 5th, the afternoon of the 5th, and maybe early evening, he acknowledged the legal basis for the position was the same. You couldn't get to either one unless you became... because to get to the procedural position, you had to set aside a number of provisions of the Electoral Count Act, which you couldn't do unless the president basically had the preliminary constitutional authority to resolve those things. So the legal theory wasn't different. He thought that it was more politically palatable. I don't think he ever termed it in terms of more palatable to the vice president, as opposed to my president was thinking more of the acceptance of the country of the action taken. Trump solemnly declared, "We never vote again. Your political knowledge means nothing. We will prosper under Trump." So true, Kyle. Welcome to the stream. I wonder what Elon's AI has to say about this. I wonder. I just enjoy your stream. Thanks, Becca. Eastman also admitted during this meeting with the president and the vice president that his proposal violated the Electoral Counts Act. Obviously, Eastman also admitted his proposal. Do you play game? Sometimes. I've been playing Marvel Rivals recently, because that just came out. I played like 3 rounds of Fortnite OG, because that also just came out. Do you play Minecraft? Yeah, I do. Occasionally, sometimes. We go through the 2-week Minecraft phases. Jacob recorded his reflections on the January 4th meeting in a contemporaneous memo to the vice president. 155. Oh, I remember this, yeah. Good at Fortnite is a great. I don't play Fortnite on stream. like a few months ago. I don't really play games on stream anymore. People don't watch that. I don't have that loyal of an audience, apparently. I don't know. Y'all watch, not y'all, I'm assuming some of y'all watch Gibbs too. Okay, I see Gibbs play games, and he still gets 30 viewers. And I play Fortnite, and I go down to like 2 viewers. What the hell? Man, I probably should have combed my hair today, huh? But whatever. We're only here for homework, apparently. Recorded his reflections. On the meeting. In a January 5th. Memo to Pence. But are you doing stream daily? Not quite daily, but I try. Over like Christmas break or whatever, I'll do it relatively daily. Right now, I kind of have like I probably won't stream the next 2 days just because I have college work I have to do. But then after those 2 days, I should be streaming pretty often. Not quite daily, but you should use video games to explain boring economic ideas. And it's hard to do that. Played GTA 5. The game has been out for a decade and becomes more popular each day. I don't know if I am interested in playing GTA 5 still. I mean, I've played quite a bit of GTA Online. I never actually beat GTA 5, the story mode, but I did play quite a bit of online, and then I don't have much to do in it anymore, since, you know, we all get to that phase in GTA Online where you cheat in a couple $100 million. New Jeffersonian arc is gonna be crazy. True. And then you buy everything in the game, and there's not, I mean, like, I don't know, some of the heists are still fun to do with friends and stuff. Roleplay servers, no one plays GTA Online. That is GTA Online, but yeah. I've never done the GTA roleplay stuff, but why don't you put a panel on your channel? What? I mean, I've done panels. I do plenty of panels. Jacob wrote he's been acknowledged that his proposal violates several provisions of key statutory law, namely the Electoral Count Act 1877. Jacob's memo explained that the Electoral Count Act calls for a vote certification to be acted upon in any... Okay, so... Jacob stated that Eastman acknowledged that his proposal violates several provisions of statutory law, namely the ECA. The memo explains the... Where is the panel? I don't see it. I don't... What... There's no... What do you mean panel? What's up, Micah? Okay, what was I saying? Oh, memo, January 5th memo, explains ECA. Calls for all vote certificates to be acted upon and any objections to a state's certificates to be finally disposed of. So quoting just a memo of the ECA. I don't know how to spell certificates. Chat so censored. I mean, if you really want to say something, go to Kick Chat or go to Twitch Chat. I don't control the YouTube chat censorship. It's dumb. Acted upon and all objections be whatever disposed of. But yeah, Johnny Smith wanted to skip it. I've read the memo before. I'm aware. Factorio and show what happens when the world stops importing raw materials to the USA. I get no, that's true. Maybe you could explain tariffs with Factorio actually. Example said, you're reading too much into this. You really only need to know the basic fact. I mean, Localist, weren't you accusing me of reading stuff just to debate earlier? I enjoy reading things just to learn as well, okay? Like, I'm never... do you think in the middle of a debate I'm gonna bring up half of the, like, shit I've read into, like, this stuff? Like... Actually, I shouldn't use the what's wrong with protectionism as an example, because a lot of this stuff is, like, useful. But, like, there's so many things that, like, I'm never gonna... I mean, this book, we just started this book, but, I'm never bringing the... Alex Jones is right. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. I'm never bringing this shit up, man. Because, like, some of it is just, like, so... like too deep into it. I'm never bringing some of this shit up, okay? I feel like you only care about this to cite random John Eastman source material during debates. Well, considering John Eastman gave us a lot, I mean, you're just reading this because you care about primary sources. Like, what is that? What does that tell you? Yes, I'm reading this in part because I want to know what John Eastman himself said, okay? Even though I've read the Eastman memos, obviously, and I've read this January 5th memo before. This January 5th memo is a lot nicer than the one I have, though. I don't know why the one I have is, like... I mean, it's the same memo, but mine is tilted and scanned in, and this is not. If you get panels, so your channel will look even better. I don't know what you mean by panel. When he first said panel, I thought you meant like fucking, like a debate panel. I do plenty of panels. You're just reading it to weaponize it, not because you're meaningfully... I am interested in it. What do you mean? Luckily, the facts are on my side, so just by knowing about this stuff, I can, quote-unquote, weaponize it. But, like... Can I show you an Insta in or Discord? I mean, if you're just trying to sell me art, aren't you? That's where we're getting at here. It's not philosophical or intellectually relevant to anything political or policy position outside of hating Trump. It's relevant to whether or not you should vote for Trump, which is what a lot of debate panels are about. I don't like. It's relevant to democracy in general. The fact that Donald Trump tried to fucking overturn an election. I would say it's kind of relevant to, well, I mean, it's arguably relevant to just constitutional law too, but. Yeah, but the election is over, so J6 is ready to be buried. Well, people are still talking about it, okay? So I'm gonna learn more about it still, okay? Even if I wasn't, like I don't. Hold on. let me just like... Here, give me a second, okay? Here's a book I read before I started streaming at all. How often... Okay, where's like a, How often do you think this shit comes up in debates? I just like reading. I just like knowledge. Diagrams of neurons and understanding how there's different, I forget the name, honestly. the different whatever they're called. Like circuit, I think it's circuits, whatever. However they work, it's just not like ever relevant. Like it's interesting, so like I've read about it. Oh, here's a good one actually. Bro, how often do you think patents come up in it? How often do you think fucking patents, fucking 1982 patent reforms come up in debates? Okay? How often do you, like, what, like, in the early 1990s, when the standards for SD-RAM chips were being discussed at the JEDEC, Rambus was a member of the, like, no one knows anything I just said. These are all, like, I actually don't even remember what some of this is. I mean, I have it highlighted, so I can just go back and read it, but, like, but there's so much better knowledge in random J6 papers. I mean, I enjoy reading about it. I think it's going to be, I do also think it's going to be useful in debates. So, like, I'm reading about it. Why do I even engage? I'm just having a, fuck you. I'm just doing what I like doing. Why am I letting you bring me down? Why is U.S. not allowing secession? Because basically no country does. To my knowledge, I don't know if any countries have a nerdy should be non-fam never vote allowed. True. To my knowledge, I don't know if any country has it like built into their constitution or whatever that like you're just allowed to leave the country. And objections be finally disposed of. Unilateral secession is constitutional and legal. It's not what the Supreme Court has ruled, but okay. If it wasn't a constitution, it would have prohibited it. I don't know if that's how constitutional law works. Let's talk about this merging with Canada thing. That sounds right. I think Canada should merge. I think we should merge with Canada. You know why? Because then we can't tariff them. Despite this, Eastman was proposing that no action be taken on the certificates from states where Eastman asserted were contested. And according to the Electoral Count Act, the Vice President is to call for objections, but Eastman did not want the Vice President to call for objections in these states. ECA also states the Vice President is to call for objections, but Eastman did not want Pence to do so for these states. As Jacob noted, this would have been depriving Congress of the ability under the Act to make, debate, and vote on those objections. Additionally, the Electoral Count Act contains a provision that requires any competing slates of electors to be submitted to the Senate and House for debate and deposition. As Jacob noted, Eastman conceded that the alternate fake elector votes were not proper, but Eastman's proposal still would have refused to count the real electors' votes from those states and instead referred both the real and fake elector votes to state legislators for disposition. ECA further states that the How can the states not secede when they literally seceded from Britain? Well, we didn't legally secede from Britain. That was not legal. And the committee is elected to be submitted to the Senate. As per the position. However, Eastman conceded that the alternate fake electors were not proper. However, Eastman's plan still would refuse to count the real electors' vote from the states and instead referred both the real and fake electors' vote to state legislators for deposition. Finally, in order for state legislators to take action to determine which of the states should be counted, Eastman's proposal called for an extended recess at a joint session, but this too would have violated the ECA, which provides only for very short delays. Eastman's plan also called for an extended recess at a joint session. A further violation. Do you support the right to secede? Not as a legal right. I mean, I don't know enough about it to like say confidently, but like the Supreme Court has ruled against it in the past, which makes me think there's probably a good argument for why it's not legal. In terms of like moral, like yeah, obviously seceding can be justified morally, like as an idea. I mean, sure. The father, the biggest douche canoe in Congress. Why are we talking about that guy? For real. The ECA, which provides secession just independence. Sure, can be, yeah. Only for very short delays. There were another foundational problems with Eastman plan. There were no legitimate competing alternate slates of electors. Other foundational flaw in Eastman's plan. What there is no. What would you call the system you support? What do you mean the system when it comes to secession, or like just like in general? The system, I would say something. I quite like the term basic income capitalist. I like that term. That's what I would describe myself as. Legitimate competing or alternate slates of electors. Trump, Eastman, and others manufactured the conditions they needed in order to claim the result of the election was disputed by convening fake electors who sent fake documents to Washington before January 6th, and their efforts to convince the legislators to certify Trump's electors had already failed. Jacob noted in his memo that in the Oval Office meeting, Eastman conceded that no legislator had appointed or certified any alternate slates of electors, and that the purpose of the alternate slate were illegitimate without what Jacob described as the impropriety of approval by a state legislator. Jacob notes in his memo that Eastman conceded in the meeting no legislator had appointed or certified any alternate slates of electors, and that the purported alternate slates were illegitimate without what Jacob described as the impropriety of approval by a state legislator. 159. I believe states should pull themselves up by the bootstraps, not use blue states to make all the money. True. Oh wait, this is the same. I guess it is in the fucking... What is your take on people voting directly in states' federal budgeting proposals and amendments? I don't think people understand. In a world where people understood how economics works, I'd be fine with that. On budgeting things, I don't trust people to fully understand that. I don't know. I think people are dumb. Because people like it's the I forget what the bias is called, where like you ask voters and like voters just like simultaneously in favor of like decreasing the deficit and lowering taxes and increasing spending. They are simultaneously in favor of all three of these things, and they don't realize that's contradictory. I don't know if I trust the voter base to be able to like directly vote on the budget. I don't know. There are like some things that I'm fine with being ballot referendums, like, you know, whatever it's specifically like abortion proposals or like IVF proposals. Those are usually ballot referendums. I don't know. Like there's some like whether or not to increase fucking local property tax. That's probably fine to do as like a referendum thing. Yeah. Moreover, it's been acknowledged that no Republican-controlled legislative majority in any disputed states has expressed an intention to designate an alternate slate of electors. It's been further acknowledged no Republican state legislator or whatever. Is this going to be the same memo? Yeah. In other words, it's been acknowledged that the fake votes were invalid, that no state legislator had approved them, and no state legislator would approve them. But President Trump and Eastman still pressured the unlawful scheme on the vice president. Although Eastman started the January 4th Oval Office meeting, maintaining the vice president, Pence had the unilateral authority to reject electors. By the end of the meeting, he conceded that he would not recommend the vice president assert that he has the unilateral authority to decide which of the competing states of electors should be counted. Despite this, Eastman still pressured Pence to go through with the plan. Although starting the meeting by contending Pence could unilaterally Pence had the unilateral authority to reject electors. He ended it by stating he would not recommend. 162. This is the same thing. Jacob ended his memo with a scathing summary. If the vice president implemented Professor Eastman's proposal, he would likely lose in court. Jacob wrote, in the best case scenario, in which the courts refused to get involved, the vice president would likely find himself in an isolated standoff against both houses of Congress, as well as most or all of the applicable state legislators, with no neutral arbiter to break the impasse. Following the Oval Office meeting during the events of January 4th, Jacob invited Eastman to send along any written materials on electoral vote counting issues, including a law review article by Lawrence Tribe that Eastman had cited in an Oval Office meeting that day for Jacob to review. On the president's behalf, Jacob reviewed everything that Eastman submitted. Nothing changed the analysis he had already done for the vice president. Indeed, much of it did not even support Eastman's own argument. After the meeting, Jacob invited Eastman to send more materials, or to send along any written materials on electoral voting issues. For him to review on behalf of Pence. Jacob reviewed everything Eastman submitted. However, nothing changed. The analysis he had already done. And much of what Eastman sent did not or didn't even support his arguments. 165. I'm curious. What if, like, in the URL, I just, like, replace... this with this? No way. Okay, that one can't be found. Am I not? Why did some of them work, but not other ones? Oh wait, I guess this has all of them. But it's only one page. I don't think this one matters. The vice president was not persuaded by Eastman's theory and remained convinced that his role in January's that his role at the joint session would be merely ceremonial. Pence did not relent on any on January 4th or at any point during the harrowing 2 days that followed. The Yale study? What? From my very first conversation with the vice president on a subject, his immediate instinct was that there is no way that one person could be entrusted by the framers to exercise that authority, Jacob testified. And never once did I see him budge from that view, and the legal advice I provided him merely reinforced it. So everything that he said or did during the January 4th Oval Office meeting was consistent with his first instincts on the question. Pence never wavered from his view that he lacked the authority to overturn the election. And 4th, 2021, Trump publicly pressures the vice president during a rally speech in Georgia. President Trump did not relent either. His instincts were to increase public pressure on Pence, despite the vice president's consistent messaging to President Trump about the limits of his authority. That evening, during a Senate campaign rally in Dalton, Georgia, President Trump made it seem as if the presidential election hadn't already been decided and projected his unhinged ambition on his opponents. President Trump claimed that there's nothing the radical Democrats will not do to get the power they so desperately crave, including the outright stealing of elections like they're trying to do with it now. During a Senate campaign rally in Dalton, Georgia. Trump. Claim Democrats stole the election. Adding, we're not going to let it happen, President Trump said. We're not going to let it happen. I hope Mike Pence comes through for us, I have to tell you. Actually, should it be? President Trump called Vice President Pence a great vice president, a great guy, as well as wonderful. He's a smart man, but he alluded to the vice president's role. He's going to have a lot to say about it. And on an ominous note, of course, if he doesn't come through, I won't quite like him as much. I'll say he called Pence wonderful. And a smart man. But further stated, of course, that won't come through. I won't like him as much. Okay, Jan 5th. 2021. Eastman pressures Pence's staff in private meetings while President Trump treats. Pressures Pence's staff. In a reversal of where the Oval Office meeting ended the day before, Eastman argues that Pence should reject electors outright. Reversing his position from the end of the Jan 4th meeting. Eastman once again argues Pence should reject electors outright. Eastman met with Jacobs and Short again the following day. During the Oval Office meeting, the vice president had made it clear that he would not unilaterally reject electors. By pivoting, recommended the vice president send the electors back to the states. Eastman seemed to recognize this. But the following morning, Eastman returned to pressuring the more aggressive path. 171. So Mark Short, page 201, it said, right? And then font non-true. Greg Jacob, page 92. And 106. This is Greg Jacob, right? Yes. And it just cites this. It doesn't actually cite elsewhere in this, but okay. Jacob recorded Eastman's request on January 5th, 2021 in a handwritten note requesting VP reject. This request with a handwritten note stating requesting VP reject 172 Mark Short page 20 oh wait sorry 172 Jacob later summarized Eastman's remarks as follows. I'm asking you here to reject the electors. I'm here asking you to reject the electors. 173. Page 92. This overnight reversal surprised Jacob because Eastman was returning to a more aggressive position. He seemed to abandon the Oval Office meeting the day before. President Trump's tweets that morning may explain Eastman's reversal. While Eastman was meeting with the vice president's staff, his client, President Trump, was pressuring the argument publicly. This reversal could be explained by Trump's public tweets stating the more aggressive proposal tweeted, the vice president has the power to reject fraudulently chosen electors. As the tweet made clear, President Trump would not be persuaded by reason or the law. The president made this public statement despite the vice president's clear and consistent rejection of this theory, including during an in-person meeting the day before. Yeah, Trump made this tweet despite Pence's and despite Pence's rejections the day before. During that same meeting, Eastman conceded this aggressive path of rejecting electors was not advisable. And even Eastman stating this path was not advisable. Hirschman briefly participated in the January 5th meeting, seeing it as an opportunity to chew Eastman out. Hirschman had already pushed back brutally on Eastman's theory regarding the vice president. Hirschman briefly participated in the meeting. seeing as an opportunity to just chew Eastman out. 175. Page 24 to 25. Hirschman had already pushed back brutally Eastman's theory. In the conversation, he emphasized the need to fact-check dubious claims of election fraud. Hirschman told Eastman that someone better make sure the allegations provided to the members of Congress were accurate before they objected to certification and vote the next day. Nothing should come out of someone's mouth that isn't independently verified and reliable. I'm going to explain the need for the claims of election fraud to be verified before anyone objected to the vote in Congress. At the end of the morning meeting, Eastman concedes to Pence's counsel that his theory has no historical support. By the end of the Jan 5th morning meeting, Eastman conceded to Pence's counsel that his theory has no historical support. Jacob then on his hand his Socratic debate with Eastman over the legal merits of his position. According to Jacob, Eastman conceded much ground by the end of the session. Eastman all but admitted his plan didn't work. Jacob had its own debate with Eastman. Where he testifies, Eastman all but admitted his plan didn't work. 179, I'm assuming 107, 117. For example, Eastman had previously claimed to have found historical support in the actions of John Adams and Thomas Jefferson, who both presided over counting the electoral votes when they were vice president. Not so. Jacob told the select committee that Eastman conceded in private that the case of Jefferson and Adams did not serve as an example for the proposition that he was trying to support. A vice president he was trying to support of a vice president assertion of authority to decide disputes because no dispute was raised in either case during the joint session. And Jacob added, and moreover, there was no question as to the outcome in those states. Eastman had previously found historical support in the actions of both John Adams and Thomas Jefferson. However, this is not the case. Eastman conceded in private. This wasn't the case. These did not serve. There's no disputes. $180. What's up, Manar? Jacob man, all historical examples. Actual conduct been followed every single time. Select committee and debate God logic into 4 Christians stay alive right now in atheism. I'm not gonna do that. I don't care right now. No. Then run through all of Eastman's examples. By the end, concluding. What are you studying? Some more Gen 6 stuff. ECA. Have been followed. Every single time. I thought that case is squashed. Well, I mean, that's not really relevant to me reading about it, but yeah, it was dismissed. In theory, it could come back one day because it was dismissed without prejudice or whatever. But I mean, like, he's probably not going to be criminally charged for it because he won the election. But he's been conceded that there was no historical support for the role of the vice president. He and President Trump were pushing on Vice President Pence to play. No vice president before or after the adoption of the ECA had exercised such authority. Not only Jack Smith dismissal request, but Fannie Willis going on default and refusing to provide. Well, I mean, he's not even the state stuff. He's not going to be charged for, most likely. We're not going to. He's not. Well, he's the sitting president. This included then Vice President Richard Nixon's handling of the electoral vote of Hawaii following the 1960 election. Though Eastman and other Trump lawyers used the Hawaii example to justify the theory that Vice President could unilaterally choose which electors to count, Eastman admitted to Jacobs that Vice President Nixon had not, in fact, done what Eastman was recommending Vice President to do. This applies even to the or to Nixon's handling Vice President Richard Nixon's hailing of the actual votes of Y in 1960 election. Eastman admitted to Jacob that Vice President Nixon had not in fact done what Eastman was recommending Vice President Pence to do. $181. Page 108. Are you agree with me? The case in Georgia state level was complete sham. No, Minar, you can't say it's a complete sham. You don't know anything about the case. You literally know nothing. All you fucking know is that prosecutors slept together. That's all you know. You don't know anything. You didn't know who John Eastman was. You can't say it's a sham when you literally don't know a single goddamn thing about the case. Fact, the Republican state was already certified, but after judicially ordered recount, declared the Democratic candidate won, and the incoming that's blah blah blah. The president right joint session. Magnanimously acknowledged that it was clear to White's votes for Kennedy were the correct votes and called for objections, of which there were none. Being six electors from Hawaii. Instead, a Republican state slate was originally certified by the outgoing governor, but after judicial order of recounts, declared a Democratic candidate won, and the incoming governor certified a new slate consistent with the outcome of the election after the recount. VP Nixon, when he arrived at Hawaii in a joint session, magnanimously acknowledged that it was clear to White's votes for Kennedy were the correct votes and called for objections, of which there were none. Oh, because he could have. Yeah, no. That word makes sense there. Okay, because he lost Hawaii, but originally had won Hawaii. Therefore, this was him complying with the Electoral Count Act procedures regarding objections to electors. Greg Jacobs, page 1516. One good example, 1857, blah, 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 blah. First, I allowed a possibility of exception to that, which was 1960 Nixon situation, because you had two slates back in Hawaii, back in 1876. 1960, you had a Republican, he said that. Yeah, I think we read it before. So here you did have its alternate slate posted by the House Authority. Eastman also admitted that he would not grant the expensive power to advocate for the vice president to any other vice president. Eastman also admitted he would not grant these powers to any other vice presidents. Eastman did not think Vice President Kamala Harris should have such power in 2025. Nor did he think Vice President Al Gore should have such power in 2001. Like Harris in 2025 or Gore in 2001. He acknowledged he didn't think Kamala Harris should have authority in 2024. He didn't think Al Gore should have that have it in 2000. He acknowledged that there is no small government conservative that thinks that's the case. I said if this were to go to the Supreme Court, and I said if this were to go to the Supreme Court, we'd lose 9-0. And if we didn't, and if we actually took your position, we got up there, he's started out at 7-2. Who were the two? I think maybe Clarence Thomas. I said, really, Clarence Thomas? And we went through a few of Thomas' opinions, and he finally acknowledged, yeah, all right, it'd be 9-0. Except that his fallback, what did he say? Who did he say the other one was? I don't recall. According to Jacob, Eastman acknowledged by the end that, first of all, no reasonable person would actually want that clause of the 12th Amendment to read that way, because if it did, it would mean the vice president had such authority, you could never have a party switch thereafter. So by the end, he's been acknowledged. You can have a party switch thereafter. Politicians followed Eastman's advice. You would just have the same party continuously. Indeed, a vice president would have the authority to just declare the winner of every state. 184. Page 110. Wait, what? 184, page 110. Oh, it's a bit earlier in the page. Okay. The vice president's office was then moved by Eastman's specious reasoning. As he left Mark Short's office, Eastman was thinking of his client's reaction. They're going to be really disappointed that I wasn't able to persuade you, Eastman said. Former Republican officials with executive, legislative, and judicial experience all agreed with Vice President Pence's conclusion about his limited role at the joint session. How many pages do we have left? Oh, this is more than I thought. God damn it. Who made this report so long? Oh my god. Hold on, I think we were on 478, right? No. Where are we? Wait, where were we? We were in 477. We'll read to this at least. As President Trump's pressure campaign intensified, the vice president's outside counsel, Richard Cullen, turned for support to John Michael Luttig, a conservative former judge on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fourth Circuit. Eastman had clerked Luttig, a man with impeccable legal and conservative credentials, more than 2 decades prior. Luttig rejected Eastman's so-called legal analysis of the vice president's role in no uncertain terms. Hey, you're blocking the Minecraft recorder. I'm not even. I have it. I'm not blocking anything. It's not behind my camera at all. I just made it smaller so it would fit. Like if I turn the camera off, you're not going to see more Minecraft. It's just going to not be me. Look, I'm not blocking anything. It's just no me. It's just black. Okay. Pence's outside counsel. Turn to outside support. Or turn to this guy for support as the pressure on Pence mounted. I was talking about my history teacher about politics, and we were. The term left and right wing comes from is interesting. Is France? Yeah, the one people would sit on the left, the other people would sit on the right, right? Yeah. We sit in the middle, right? No, I'd probably be on the left. Well, actually, it's the French Revolution. I mean, if I held the exact same positions as today, would be on the. I'd be on the left. They weren't talking about gay marriage back in those times. Yeah, I think I would be pretty far on the left actually, but. You're gay? No. Dude, this reminded me. Bro. I need the clip. Where did I send it?
Look, Non-Fawn, here, Non-Fawn wants me to set up a dating panel for him. Non-Fawn is a sweet young man, 19 years old, never been kissed, virgin, He's never had a girlfriend.
19.
And he's 19.
Is he okay with you saying this? All this.
Bro, all I said is I've never had a girlfriend. He doesn't know for sure. I've never been kissed. He doesn't know that for sure. He can't know that. It may be true, but he can't know that.
He said it on the panel, right, that we were on together. He's the one that brought it up. And he wants me to set up like a dating show for him.
The dating show is his idea, by the way. I agreed to it. I'm down. I love the idea, to be clear. I think it's a good idea. Dating show is his idea, though. Just so we're clear. Just so we're clear. His idea. He came up with it. We can go watch the clip of him coming up with it. Just so we're clear. I got kissed by a woman, my grandma. Only woman face. Relatable. They rejected. Eastman's theory. In no uncertain terms. A series of tweets posted at 9:53 a.m. on January 5th. Ludic set out his legal conclusion, stating in a series of tweets on Jan 5th. The only responsibility and power of the Vice President under the Constitution is to faithfully count the Electoral College votes as they have been cast. The Constitution does not empower the Vice President to alter in any way the votes that have been cast, either by rejecting certain of them or otherwise. 187. Confusion in the media about where the Vice President stood on the issue prompted former Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan, to reach out to the Vice President and share his belief that the Vice President had no unilateral authority. Former Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan, 188. Mark Short again. One, two, 52. Is this Greg Jacob or Mark Short? That's Greg Jacob. Is this Mark Short? Is this Mark Short? Mark Short. Okay, former speaker, that guy clarified. I found a great video.
That's like where all the fun is.
These nuts are the
10 most dangerous crime-ridden cities in Ohio. Are you seeing? Next.
Donald Trump announced that he's putting a 25% tariff on everything coming from Mexico.
And a week after President-elect Trump...
Oh my god, kill me, dude.
Mexican immigration authorities have already broken up 2 migrant caravans headed to the U.S. border. Next.
Has officially announced his tariffs policy, and it's as bad, really, as you can expect.
Trump's economic tariff plan is not going to fail. Bermuda charges the highest tariffs of any country in the world. They have no federal income tax, and they are the 4th richest country in the world in terms of GDP.
One, Bermuda's a fucking island country that can't produce shit. A lot of island countries actually do raise a lot of revenue through tariffs because they're a fucking island. They can't make things. They can't make things on their own. So that's how they raise revenue. It's convenient for them to raise revenue that way because they import like a lot of things. So like Fiji does this too. That's not comparable at all to the fucking United States. But 2, that doesn't just because a country has tariffs and also has a good economy doesn't mean the tariffs are responsible for that good economy. Believe it or not, it's actually like, you have to, a few more steps there to draw that inference, dude. I think there's probably a case you can make that Bermuda would actually be better off without the tariffs.
Per capita. Next.
Next.
And a week after President... Next.
If you look at like the blue
Who's this guy? I'm gonna DM. I'm gonna debate him on tariffs.
Trump announced that he's
Clip this. Send it to him.
25%
Tell him.
tariff on everything coming from
I don't think I've been a big enough audience to do that yet. To just say clip it, send it to him, and have something set up.
After President-elect Trump threatened these 25% tariffs, Mexican immigration authorities have already broken up
Tariffs policy, and it's as bad, really, as you can expect.
have no federal income tax in terms of GDP.
Kill me. Reach out 2 pence. 2. Share his belief that the vice president had no unilateral authority. Short spoke with the former speaker, Ryan, and testified at the committee. I said to him, Mr. Speaker, Mike, he recognizes that, and we sort of laughed about it, and I said, yeah, I get it. The vice president also consulted with former Vice President Dan Quayle, who reinforced and affirmed Vice President Pence's consistent understanding of his role. Pence also consulted with former Vice President Dan Quayle. Who reaffirmed Pence's understanding of his role in the joint session. 190. Mark Short, page 152, 209. Not heard from him in a long time. Who was he vice president for even? I don't know. Under George H.W. Bush? How old is this dude by now? What the hell? Bush's VP who misspelled potato. What? What? What?
Spell that again. Add one little bit on the end. Just think of potato. How's it? You write phonetically, put up. There you go.
You know, it would be understandable if he was just like if he was like writing it down and like accidentally added an E. I could see how you do that, but it's honestly so much worse that like he was telling someone else to do it. The like he had to like reaffirm it too. He had to like say it like 2 times. Like, think about it. Write one little bit at the end. Like, oh, that's horrible, man. Man, he should have had to overturn the election at that point. What the hell? See, also, this guy. J6 Pano grapples how to secret testimony from law enforcement Pence. I did not notice any hesitation in this part. I interpreted his questions and looking for confirmation that what he's going to do was right, and it had no flexibility. That's the way I read it, given the pressure he was under. I thought it was perfectly normal. Very smart on his part to call me. Ugh. Okay. I'm good for today on the reading. Actually, well, you know, who knows? I'm definitely going to take a break, but I actually might be back later. We'll see. For sure, tomorrow or something. Actually, again, wait, maybe not tomorrow because I have college stuff. After the 8th, for sure, I'll be streaming relatively consistently. I like a headache, man. I'm okay. Ugh. I love streaming. Love to guys watch me stream. I will hopefully stream again tomorrow, if not even later tonight, because I might just take a break and come back after I eat dinner and stuff. Yeah, appreciate all you guys. Another day in our stream, I know. Who's live right now? Who can I raid? Who can I raid with my 2 viewers? I might honestly, maybe I'll reach out to Pisco about it. The whether Nixon broke the ECA or not, because it's it. I mean, I could see the case where he did, but also Greg Jacobs knows way. Fuck, infinitely more than me, and he doesn't think he did. So like, maybe he didn't. Maybe he didn't. I guess head over to IRI. Oh, we were unable to complete raid at this time. Okay, can I not raid him? Am I not popular enough? Does he have a minimum viewer thing? I guess go over to Hutch then. Alright, live streaming. Love you guys watch your stream. I'll see you guys either later tonight or tomorrow. We'll see. I don't know why. It like hurts to breathe in. I think I drank too much caffeine, man.